feeling's right.
Hello, everyone, and this is your always tactful host, Pendy.
And this is Paul, also known as EastX Twitch.
I've done it! I finished my ultimate creation.
That's a foreboding laugh. What did you create?
The Pendy Hunter, the killing machine of my own design, will do my bidding. No one can stop me now.
Why would you name it the Pendy Hunter? Doesn't that imply that it hunts down pendies, pendii? What would the plural of pendy be?
No, but you see, it's a hunter, and I named it Pendy, and what have I done? Pendy Hunter coming online. Adjusting parameters. Hunt Pendy, initiating.
I don't think this is going the way you thought it would, Pen 10. Hey, where'd you go?
I just remembered I have an appointment. See you later.
While Pendy races away from his impending doom, I'll go ahead and welcome our audience to Tactfully Dai, the Slime Time podcast spinoff that covers just about everything in the world of Dragon Quest, The Adventure of Dai, and the Dragon Quest Tact mobile game.
That's right. We'll talk about the latest and greatest with Dragon Quest Tact first.
Good. Our target is to talk some tact.
We are currently in the middle of the Mindini Hunter event.
This event features Mindini getting carried away with her killing machine invention, and it also features inorganic robot banner units.
That's right. There's the Mechanical Worm, Trominator, and the free Mindini Hunter A unit.
As we mentioned last time, the Mindini Hunter and her whoosh attack will play a key part in the upcoming Mega Boss battles when the True Dragon Quest V event drops.
I've really enjoyed the story behind the Mindini Hunter too. Mindini's creation didn't really turn out like she thought it would, and hilarity ensues. I also love the design for the unit itself. It's pink and furry. It's a Mindini-themed killing machine, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, weren't you just telling me that it's one of the sexiest units we've had in the game so far?
I mean, I can't argue with that.
So, how are you progressing with her upgrades, though? I got all the important upgrades, and I have her big whoosh move maxed. And speaking of which, I forgot that we could get upgrades from the actual event shop for that move, so I just did it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, the thing is, I was really concentrated on getting that currency that you need to do her overall character builder upgrades.
Right.
Yeah, so I put all my stuff into that, and by the time I had gotten all the ones that were available in the shop, I'd already maxed out her whoosh attack the old-fashioned way.
Oh man, that's too bad. Those special tomes you get are amazing. They seem to have a pretty high success rate, or at least it seemed that way, and I got to keep all of my regular tomes. I hope they do this with more event units. It'll help me save on resources. I'm doing pretty well overall. I just got her last big move. Well, it's not a move, but her big circle, or what do you call it? Her big
butt?
Her big butt. Yeah, I just got her big.
Aha.
No, I just got her last big upgrade for her character builder. Now it's just a series of little plus ones here and there, and it's like an impossible number of character builder slots, which, just like with the doggo before, unless you go crazy, go nuts, even if you max out stamina, you're probably not going to get it before the event ends. At least I don't think so.
Probably not, yeah.
But it's just little upgrades. So I'm good with I think I got halfway through them with the last character, and I may get a quarter of the way with Mindini. We'll see.
Well, congratulations on that. It sounds like you're slightly ahead of me, but I feel like I guess I'll probably get that final upgrade by the end of things. And yeah, we should point out that these last couple of events have given us some nice breathing room.
That's right. No more super short events, no more overlapping events at the same time. It seems we are about as caught up as they want us to be, and it's been nice.
What's also really nice? Guild versus Guild arena tournaments.
We at Dragon Quest Tact Aces 1 had a significant win against the Suba Guild. We lost to them last time when our new 20th member did not work out. The guy who had to run errands and then kind of disappeared.
Yes, the same guy we were told later who got hit by a bus. But our new team is pretty darn good. New additions like Vigal, Rect, and Cuban 2.0, who took over an account of someone in the guild who was quitting the game, have significantly raised our fighting power.
Suba took one loss, and we had 20 straight wins. Even with a loss, we would have had enough points to overtake them with 19 wins. Props to the big brains of Mabros and Ortega for coaching with my win as well. Also props to Dios for literally pulling over to the side of the road while he was driving to help coach my Mike L's match. You are a true saint, Dios. Blessed be your coaching. Amen.
Gesundheit. Never tact and drive, everybody. Anyway, aren't you forgetting an earlier match that we had before, Suba?
Oh, yes. The match for Kage's guild. F2Ps, or free-to-plays, I guess.
Yeah, which is questionable because some of their people were quite maxed out. But anyway, a very satisfying win. You'll remember in a previous episode, we told you about his interesting guild tournament theory.
Yes. In this theory, his guild would get easier matches if he purposely kept the size of the guild well under the maximum of 20.
Many people were not pleased with this because it screwed over lower ranking guilds. The F2Ps would take the smaller guilds pieces of the gems instead of competing with guilds closer to their own skill level.
It seems the trickery didn't quite work this time, and we were paired against him.
We crushed the F2Ps with a score of 2205 to 1540. We only had 14 people to fight against, and our 6 extra members got to redo any of those 14 targets that we'd already hit before for a better score.
I hope Kage sees the error of his ways and stops trying to game the system at the cost of others.
When will he learn? We won all our qualifying matches, though, and this put us in the Master League once again.
Unfortunately, it did not go as well as last time.
We were matched against a total of 4 teams, including Arena Watch, insert guild name here, that's a weird name, and Yggdrasil.
Arena Watch is the second best guild in the entire game, and while we fought valiantly, we did lose to them. We had a great effort, but it just wasn't in the cards this time.
That's true, and it wasn't any big surprise to us.
Mm-mm.
Then, after an easy win against insert guild name here, we had a tough fight against Yggdrasil. It didn't go as well as we hoped. We had recently faced off against them before, barely won. This time was a little different.
Yeah, we faced an early setback when Mabros, one of our heaviest hitters, lost his battle. Mabros had been coached by other guild members, so the loss doesn't really sit on his shoulders. Things just went poorly during the match, and we had to move on from there.
Yeah, so that was a little frustrating. We might still have come out on top, but one of our coaches who usually does cleanup at the end, by which I mean the very last minute, lost.
He actually waited too long and got 0 points, but it didn't matter because he lost the match anyways. No blaming him, though. We lost as a team, and there is really no one person to point the finger at here. It was a good group effort, and I'm sure we'll do better next time.
Actually, we can probably blame it on the guy who ran errands a couple months ago. Somehow it was still his fault.
There you go. I like that. Let's blame him. The guy who ran errands and never came back, he is at fault.
That's right. He's still screwing us over from the afterlife.
Yes.
But I would say that coming in third place in the final tournament shows that we at Aces 1 haven't achieved well-oiled status just yet. But we gave it a pretty good shot at least. Anyway, in addition to the guild tournament, we have recently had an in-house Aces tournament.
That's right. It's still ongoing, and we'll bring a full breakdown next episode. We can talk about the dumb decisions I made.
Poor dude. One of these days I'll participate. One of these days when the in-house tournament isn't scheduled during my busy seasons at work.
Excuses. As an aside, I found something interesting in the new Dragon Quest Monsters demo.
Was it Dark Paul, my evil doppelganger?
No, but it is related to a name change, such as when Dark Paul became Grim Grinner in Tact. There is a forest dragon in the game in the Monsters demo, but they called it a lumbering lizard.
What? Which is it, Square Enix? Forest dragon or lumbering lizard? Get your name straight.
Inconsistencies with translation and names in Dragon Quest games? Never. I'm shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Yeah, I mean, that was very common in the older days. Nowadays, they had been doing better at it, but I guess sometimes it still just slips through. But at least Square Enix isn't committing war crimes like Mindini.
Right? I mean, the fellows... The fellows in the Dragon's Den Discord brought this up the other day. Her crimes include
multiple accounts of eating fellow monsters,
smashing her granddad's jar,
insulting various monsters and causing them to go berserk,
creating a machine that goes on a rampage,
loitering,
impersonating a plushie,
embezzlement of funds,
and last but not least, jaywalking.
I don't think that last one actually happened.
Maybe, but I wouldn't put it past her to do it.
True, give her enough time. It'll happen. Thanks to S-Dark Enjoyer,
Silver Athelian,
and Big Shark Gaming J for pointing all of that out.
Now, would you say you're a ladies' man, Paul?
Well, on Tuesdays I have the... Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Happy Bridal SP Scout, of course. What were you talking about?
Nothing. Not a thing. Anyway, I did all 10 pulls on the banner. This is a special limited time banner with a big mix of units. And I got almost the worst possible results.
Ooh.
Yeah, a first heart on Mina, then a fourth heart on regular Ann Lucia the Luminary, and a first copy of Ann Lucia the Maluminary. The two Ann Lucias rank lower than most of the other units on the the special banner, so they won't be of much use to me, maybe no use at all. I'm vexed by the bad luck, but I did use the ticket that you get for doing all 10 pulls to get a third heart on Beach Jessica. That's a worthwhile upgrade. Did you try for it?
Not at all. I'm still saving up for Jinx Jade, which I think should be the next event after this.
Look at you with all that reprehensible self-control. I hope you do well on that banner. Don't forget about the Dragon Quest V banner that comes right after that, though.
Don't I know it. Now, before we forget, RIP to the Dragon Quest Tact Aces 3 Guild.
That's right. Since the dawn of the guild feature, we had run 3 DQT Aces guilds. Aces 3 was designed to be the casual one, but nobody wanted to run Aces 3 for the last year or so, which only gave the rest of us headaches. Plus, all but like 2 of the Aces 3 members chose not to participate in Discord, so they weren't adding much to anything. At last, we were forced to put the guild on a barge and shoot it with a flaming arrow.
Yeah, they ended up being a little too casual. Some folks from Aces 3 went to Aces 2, and some went to my old guild from the Dragon's Den. The rest disappeared into the sea. Godspeed, Aces 3.
Now then, before we get into the die portion of the show, it's time for the Tact Tip of the Day.
Tip of the Day!
Did you know that new missions can appear all the time?
That's right, tacticians. Any update can bring with it new missions to grab those wonderful resources.
For example, the new Bride campaign has a daily mission for tomes, experience scrolls, and gold. If you weren't paying attention, you could have missed out.
That's amazing! And that was our Tact Tip of the Day. Tip of the Day! Now let's get into some die.
Every week, we're going to review 2 episodes from the newest Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai anime.
We'll also get into other die-related news, such as the upcoming die console game, which is next week from when we record, merchandise, and whatever else we find in the world of die.
First up is episode 44, The Orichalcum Warrior. In this one, Zaboera and his Mystic Legion set out to find Dai, who is trapped in the ice of the Field of Death after his latest battle with Hadlar. Pop, Crocodile, and Chew team up to rescue their friend. Dai manages to sense Pop, so he uses the last of his power to shine his Draconic Aura symbol up through the ice and into the sky. Both teams converge, and Crocodile fights the Mystic Legion to give Pop a chance to free Dai. Zaboera is able to sneak around Crocodile, though. He then casts his convergence spell of Hexitation, fun name, in an attempt to take out Pop, Dai, and Chew all in one blow. But much to Zaboera's surprise, a gigantic chess piece drops from the sky and blocks the spell. The chess pawn transforms into Hadlar's royal guard. Heem knocks out Zaboera and takes him back to Hadlar to be imprisoned. The episode ends with Hadlar introducing King Vern to his full royal guard of chess piece minions.
So I have been dreading this episode for a while. There aren't a lot of episodes I don't like in this series, and to me, this is one of the worst. I just really hate the concept of Hadlar blocking Zaboera from potentially taking out Dai. They are King Vern's, hey Vern, greatest threat, but out of dumb pride and selfishness, Hadlar prevents Zaboera from getting the deed done. I compare this to Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. Vegeta always says he has to be the one to take out Goku, or as he usually calls him, Kakarot. It's amusing or fun the way they do it in Dragon Ball Z, but here in Dai, it just makes no sense. King Vern gives Hadlar all this power and help. Zaboera's research is what gave Hadlar his new body, and yet here we are with Dai safe and sound and Zaboera in Hadlar's jail. I just don't like how this scenario is written out at all. I also thought the fight scenes with the Mystic Legion were a bit lackluster.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on in uninspired action. What I do love about this episode is Chew and his interaction with the Man of War. This monster in the series can paralyze and hit you with a lightning attack. Seeing Chew fall prey to it after not coming through with his promise of food was hilarious.
Uh-huh.
Also amusing is the English dubbed King Vern saying Hadlar. And not just Hadlar. It just goes on for a very long time. And not just that, but also phrases like the Royal Guard. A bit much on the over pronunciation, but amusing.
Yeah, about the fight in the sky real quick. You got Zaboera who can fly, so he's just floating in the sky and he's got all these flying minions. Then Crocodile is being carried by Garuda and he has to fight that way.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to animate, period, and make it look good, because it's like a very impractical scenario.
Oh yeah, there's even that scene where Crocodile faces off and Zaboera is like, what are you gonna do? And then they cut out the action. They don't even show Crocodile fighting, and they zip back to him and it's like, oh, I defeated all these people, and Zaboera is like, what? They don't even animate a lot of it.
Yeah, so it's like, I guess they just didn't have the budget for it, or they felt it wasn't going to turn out well anyway, so just kind of gloss over it, whatever. But yeah, him and Hadlar sparing Dai and his friends sets up Hadlar's new status as a more honorable bad guy, which which is an enjoyable character trait for him. It's like this one thing the series does well is give the characters growth. Not everyone, but even characters like Hadlar get some growth, and that's cool. But you're certainly right that it's strategically unwise to just let the heroes go when the bad guys could have won. Then Chu's deal with Man of War is silly and fun, like you said, so I love that part. And I've never enjoyed Vern's English voice actor, so we could probably pick apart a ton of his line readings because he's just not that good.
Hadlar. So the next episode is episode 45, The Extreme Annihilation Spell, Madroa. Leona devises a plan to take on the Dark Army by building a base in the destroyed Carl Kingdom, south of the Field of Death, just south of it. Dai and company have time before the base is complete and the attack begins, so the heroes go off to train. Dai and Hyunko go to Lan Baruch's place to get their weapons repaired. Baruch takes advantage of the time to train them as well. With assistance from Chu, Crocodile does some mysterious training in the Valje Whirlpool, splitting it in two. Mam tries to hone her skills to be even more precise and powerful. Meanwhile, Pop learns Matariv's most powerful spell, Madroa, an ultimate destructive spell that combines ice and fire power together. Kilvern is ordered to take out Baran at the end of the episode.
Before we started the podcast, I was slowly working my way through this series with my family. We got to episode 44 and stopped there in order to allow me to rewatch the series as you and I started recording the podcast. Therefore, we have now reached the episodes that I haven't seen before, which is really exciting. This is the first one of those.
A fun milestone.
Yeah. Training episodes like this are fun because they have great character moments. For instance, when Hyunko gives up on resting in order to train, the show hints that Amy might like him. The hint kind of comes out of nowhere, but I assume that the manga probably gives them a few more interactions than the rapid pace of the newer anime allows. But did you get that feeling too?
Yeah, a little bit. And I do know that they did have to cut out a little bit of stuff here and there to make it all fit into 100 episodes. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah, and Amy and they have that trio of sages that work for Princess Leona, and they just have tiny little moments. So there's certainly a lot of places where they could have been expanded upon if they didn't have to squeeze it into the 100 episode limit. But anyway, Matariv, Pop's mentor, is portrayed as somewhat sickly in this episode, I noticed. It'll be interesting to see whether his health continues to decline as the show goes on. I get the idea that the writer might not want Matariv to participate in the final battle, so it would make sense for him to pass away on his own before then.
Yeah, and I think he's like, over 100 years old, he claims at some point?
Yes, he does say that, and it's just, he gets more bedridden as the series goes on, so it seems like we're on that track. Finally, Mom's training session in the waterfall is pretty cool. She's dressed a bit lightly, so of course this turns on Pop when he catches up with her. Mom has some cheesecake moments in the manga that don't make it into the newer anime, but it's still amusing to see Pop falling over her, so to speak. And finally, it made sense for Vern to put a hit out on Baran, but that will surely end up costing the bad guys if Baran doesn't just roll over for Kilvern.
This was a fun episode. It will be interesting to see what Crocodile is going for in his whirlpool training. I mean, I know what he's going for, but it'll be fun to see the fruition of that training. Pop's training was very dramatic, and I like the interaction between him and Matariv. The comedy break between him and Mom that you described before was hilarious as well. Will he never learn? Probably not. But on a side note, I really love the design of Lan Baruch's sword. Very menacing looking.
Yeah, it's a cool design, and it's nice to spend a little more time with him as well. In our last bit of Dai news, I heard you were able to check out the live stream that the Dai localization team put together for Infinity Strash, the upcoming console and PC game. What did you learn from it?
Before I get into what they showed, I have to say they did have some nice giveaways. They were giving away 6 copies of the deluxe digital edition of the game. So that means it going to have all the DLC with it, all the extra costumes and whatnot. Ooh. They gave away 3 to the European users and 3 to the North American users.
Pretty cool. Did you win anything?
Not this time.
Aw, you're still a winner in my heart, Pen. What about gameplay?
We were able to see how the game flows, which I hadn't really seen before because we kind of had only seen bits and pieces of it in trailers and whatnot. The main part of the game is mission-based, and there's 2 difficulties, story or adventure mode. Adventure mode being the most difficult of the 2. On each location of the map, you go through the missions as the story progresses. There are missions where you can find and explore that section of the map. It has monsters to fight and treasures to find. You get to do some exploring in that section. You have to find the end of the route to complete the mission. In certain areas, artificial barriers are put up, and you have to defeat all the monsters to progress further, as far as I could tell. If you get lost, and I like this little feature, you can use Gome-chan to point out where to go next.
Yay.
The other type of the mission shown was boss fights. You get put in an area where your only objective is to win against the boss. We were shown the first time Dai has to fight Crocodile in the game, as an example. All the while, you get shown story scenes in between the missions.
That sounds like a pretty strong game structure. I look forward to it. What about the Temple of Recollection?
That gets more unlocked as you progress through the story mode. You can't just do it all at once, which is probably pretty good, because if you try and go through it too quickly, you can get killed pretty easily.
Ouch.
So you can only do so much of it at a time. It's split up into layers, and each layer has a certain number of floors that are randomly generated in design. Some floors will have special optional mission parameters for an extra bonus you can win. As you progress, you'll get 2 doors to choose from. One door could focus more on increasing your attacks, or one door could be for increasing the strength of your special attacks. They even showed a treasure door, and they went through that one. In the treasure door, there's a room with 2 treasure chests. One is something good, and one is a trap of some sort. I'm guessing a mimic. They found the one that they picked was a good one, so I'm guessing it's going to be like a mimic or some kind of one of those Dragon Quest treasure chest monsters that you have to battle. In the temple, you can level up your skills, your coup de grace attack, and your bond memories. This appears to be unique to the temple. You can also find new bond memories and other items in the temple as well.
Bondage memories. Check. Dragon Quest does have a long history with whips, after all. Anyway, you mentioned player skills and coup de grace. How do those things work?
Well, in battle, you have dodge, block, and a normal attack. In addition to that, you have up to 3 skill or spell slots and a coup de grace slot. Once you get enough of them, you can swap in and out which ones you like the best. I was happy to see that you'll get a lot of skills, spells, and coup de grace attacks throughout the game. It would be kind of boring if it didn't have some variety to it, which it seems to have a lot of.
It's always nice to have significant character growth and the ability to customize a little bit by swapping in the different moves. That's all good stuff. Anything else interesting about the battle mechanics?
Of course, you just can't willy-nilly abuse all your skills and spells and your coup de grace attack. The skills cost MP, and there is a gauge to be built up for the coup de grace attack. Also, bosses have a break gauge. It appears over their head, and if you get it down all the way, they will be stunned for some free attacks.
Then I shall knock down all of their break gouges. Those guys won't know what hit them. Any final notes?
Well, that's about it. They did mention the game will be rated T for teen in the USA, if anyone was wondering. Other than that, it looked fantastic. I can't wait to play it very soon.
Me neither. Even more recently in Japan, there was a live stream there for Infinity Strash and other Dai properties, I hear.
Yes, and as a bonus, anything that was Infinity Strash related had a live English translator.
Sweet. They mentioned some updates about the Dai arcade game, the Crossblade manga, and the Avon prequel manga.
No translation there, though. Looks like the arcade game is going to get some new cards, because it's a card-based game, as we've gone over before, including some of the Dai characters using the classic original manga designs.
Ooh.
And they showed the latest volumes for those 2 manga that are going to come out soon or are out now. Oh, and before I forget, I almost forgot to mention, they had a special surprise announcement, and they showed it off a little bit. They actually showed you battling King Vern, which doesn't happen in the story of the game, because that's after episode 41. And they showed Pop using Madroa, which I believe doesn't. No, that doesn't. Yeah, we just did our episode review about it. That doesn't happen until after episode 41 as well. So it's like, it's bonus things that you can get in the temple. You won't be fighting them in like the main story part of the game, but you can fight them in the Temple of Recollection. So I'm wondering, will there be more than King Vern? And will there be other advanced skills and bosses that you can fight in there as well? We'll find out soon.
That'd be fun. I mean, it's cool that we get those little like preview things that are beyond the story of the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the stream had a fun surprise at the end, I hear. They brought out 2 Dai cosplayers dressed as Mom and Hyunko.
Yes, Mom was in the warrior mage outfit that has the pink and black skirt with her massive staff, and Hyunko was dressed as he first was when the heroes meet him initially in the series.
Yeah, the costumes look pretty cool. If you're lucky enough to be at the event in person, you could pose and get pictures with the cosplayers at a designated time after the stream was over.
I'm so jealous. They looked really good. And the weapons, including Hyunko's dark armor sword, looked very authentic.
I wish I had one of those. The voice actor for Dai, Atsumi Tanizaki, was part of the stream along with our new best buddy. I say that because, in case our listeners missed it, we recently released a special Slime Time episode in which you, Platty, and I interviewed the Japanese producer of Infinity Strash, Takumi Kasai. That was lots of fun, so thanks for putting it together, dude.
All in a day's work. It was a fantastic episode, and I had so much fun interviewing the guy. He was great to talk to.
He certainly was, and yeah, we're all really proud of it. That's all for this episode of Slime Time, Tactfully Dai. If you want to prepare for the next episode, be sure to watch episodes 46 and 47 of The Adventure of Dai, subtitled on Crunchyroll Crunchyroll or dubbed on Hulu, Vudu, the library app Hoopla, or the Microsoft Store.
We're a non-profit podcast. We won't strash your hard-earned gold when we can offer you quality content for free. But if you do have some extra gold that's just completely burning a hole in your wallet, pouch, bottomless bag, treasure chest, or searchable wall sack, and you would like to donate anything to a website that's been supporting Dragon Quest fans for over 25 years, stop by the Dragon's Den by clicking the link in the show notes. There are several ways to support the Den, including the affiliate links that don't cost you anything extra when making other Dragon Quest purchases.
We even have a Slime Time t-shirt you can buy that was designed by our resident artist, Dwayne. See the link for it in the show notes.
As part of the Slime Time Extended Universe, or STU, you can direct comments or questions for the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at DQ Slime Time.
And you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EastX Twitch. Come watch me play a variety of games every Saturday, kids.
Join in tons of Dragon Quest discussion at the Dragon's Den forums or Discord, and the Dragon Questers, Infinity Strash, and Dragon Quest Tact Global Facebook groups.
We'd like to thank everyone that made this podcast possible, including Pendy, Woodus, the Dragon's Den, and Right Stuff Anime. May they rest in peace. To explain that real quick, Right Stuff Anime has been the longest-running, largest American retailer of anime and related products. They were around for many, many years. Within the last year, they got bought out by Crunchyroll, which was not a good sign, right? And now, just in this last week, they've announced that they're being shut down, basically absorbed into Crunchyroll, and you'll have to buy things from the Crunchyroll store now. Probably means an end to the sweet discounts that they used to offer. And incidentally, I bought at least one volume of the Dai manga from them, so I probably won't be buying the next volume from them. I'll probably end up going with Amazon. Sad thing.
That is sad. It is sad to see them go. I had bought some stuff from them over the years as well. Just like with Dragon Quest Tact Aces 3, they have gone off into the sea. Godspeed to them as well.
That's true. They're going to be selling anime in Valhalla now.
True. Please like, subscribe, and write a review for the podcast.
We'll catch you later, everybody. Don't hate, appreciate.
Time to zoom on out of here.
Lately days are getting dark before you've had a chance, but remind yourself the truth can be a never-ending task. Even now, with what we've got, how far can we go until it's gone? Sometimes I swear I hear a voice, look, no one's in the other room. All alone I thought I had an angel, someone keeping an eye on me. Even love will turn to dust. I can't help but be proud of how far we've come. But I don't plan on backing down or letting my guard down, 'cause I knew a test would someday come my way. So I made a promise to remember every little thing, to every piece of my heart, keeping the fire burning, letting in the light to see what's waiting for me on the other side of this world. I wanna change, so reach out and find the path that no one else can. Tell us what's to come and who's waiting for us to show them a new way.
This is Gertrude for Slime Time, reminding you all that you must complete your adventure.